it takes a while to get to a place where you like just treat everything like really carefully, and for the sake of longevity and sustainability. I'm very proud of myself. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Diving Deep podcast. I'm Annie, and I'm here to catch you up on all the crafting things I've been up to. It's been about 5 or 6 weeks, so I've been a little MIA, but for good reason. Things have just been kind of crazy on my end with lots of travel and birthdays and having a baby. That's pretty much it. I think if there wasn't the parent factor, it would have been more manageable to try and, sit down and record earlier, but, we're gonna roll with the punches. And honestly, it's been pretty great. I'm really glad I took a break because I think I needed it. I think I was definitely feeling some of the pressure with posting, and a lot of this is just like internal. And so it was a nice little reflection point for me to remind myself why I'm doing this, and it's really just for fun and to share what I'm doing. So yeah, I've been up to a lot since the last time I sat down to, record, and a lot has happened. So first off, I'm just going to go through some of these real quickly. I did finish my friend's baby mobile right before they gave birth, so I was able to gift it to them literally 2 days before their baby came, and it turned out so well. Honestly, it felt a little stressful coming down to the wire because I was already past their due date, but I was still at the sweet spot, I guess. Sweet spot for me, which is delivering before they deliver. And it turned out so well. It's so sweet. My baby loves it, and I think that's a good indicator that their baby is maybe willing to love it just as much, and that makes me really happy. It's so whimsical. If I could go back and make one for my baby, I probably would. He doesn't need one anymore. He's a 1-year-old. We'll get to that later. But although it was semi-stressful, I would probably do it again because I figured out a lot of the random kinks to how to construct a baby mobile, and yeah, it's actually not too bad once you have a little formula. So anyways, very successful, so whimsical, would do it again. Maybe I would plan it out a little bit better, but I'm not really sure what to do with my scrap yarn. I've got a fair amount of cotton yarn left from this baby mobile, and I'll have to figure out how to repurpose it. So that was my first thing. I have finished my no frills sweater for my niece, and it's been blocked, so we are on the home stretch. Now this isn't quite finished. It's finished knitting wise, but I'm still doing the embroidery, and this is where we're at. I'm on the embroidery piece, so there's going to be a little Sailor Moon themed patch here. These are the cats, Artemis, Luna, and I actually don't know their baby's name, but their little tails are in a heart. But yes, this sweater is actually freshly blocked. I kind of did all the blocking for my projects recently, and it feels good. It feels so good to get this just to this stage. And if this weren't for my niece, I would totally steal it back and just make another thing for whoever is getting gifted. However, this is totally her color. It's not my color. I actually think it kind of makes me look a little bit more gray, but it's so cute. It's so cute. This is such a simple sweater. So this is the No Frills Sweater by Petite Knit, and it was such a fun and easy knit, a mindless knit. I could sit down and watch TV while doing this. It literally took me less than 2 weeks to do all of this. I've gotten pretty fast at doing this stockinette stitch, and so yeah, this came along really well. I still hate doing sleeves, but it moved fairly fast, and I just think that this is a very classic sweater. It's got this like wide crew neckline and like a little oversized and drapey, and it just looks really cozy. I've actually tried it on myself and I think it looks really good, so I might make a no frills sweater for myself in the near future. But yeah, so I'm at the part where I'm doing the embroidery, and I bought some sulky tearaway paper. So we'll see how this works. I kind of did a test patch on my swatch that I made for this sweater, and tried doing some embroidery, and it looks like it's holding up okay. If I hate my satin stitch, I might just like cut it away, and I did try that as well on my swatch. It looks a little crazy right now. Like it looks a little crazy right now. But you know, assuming that things go smoothly, it should look really cute. I don't know, I'm a little like apprehensive about how many holes I'm making and whether or not it should just be like one smooth satin stitch across the body instead of making all these little like short lines. I don't know, we'll see. Actually, the more that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking I'm gonna rip it back. But by the time this is all said and done for the next video, I will probably be done with this, and it'll be nice to just, you know, gift it and be done. I particularly feel really good when I get to cross something off my to-do list, and yeah, we're nearing the home stretch. One other thing, I actually quite love this yarn. It's Juniper Moon Farm Patagonia Organic Merino. It's not like it's super rough, but compared to the things I've used before, it felt a little bit more rough than those in comparison. It does block out really nicely, and it's a little bit softer than how it comes in a skein. So just a little tidbit there. I actually really enjoyed knitting with this. I don't know what it is about this particular yarn, but it felt really good in the hands while I was handling it. And I distinctively remembered thinking that it's such a shame that this is a little rough, because this is really like nice to knit with. I'm so surprised. I might get some more of this, and yeah, for future projects. This wasn't too bad. The whole project I spent approximately $55, and I still have one whole skein left over. Granted, there was a sale, so I don't know. It should have still come out to be about that amount without the skein, if not less. So yeah, very, very happy with this sweater. Yeah. Okay, so no frills, check. What else? I have this one that I feel like I've been working on for forever. My cardigan number 8. I'll insert a photo of me wearing it. But it is finally blocked. I've got my buttons on. This is cardigan number 8 by my favorite knitwear, and it might look funny over my sweatshirt, but it is big because it's boyfriend fit, and I am so pleased with it. It kind of reminds me of being a kid again back in the 90s. I think it's just like the colorway, like, I don't know, this marled effect. I have to say this was one of the most fun knits I've had yet, and it was literally just because it was fun looking at the yarn and how it was coming together and how it would change. There's a little bit of a striping effect from my yarn, which it's been so long that I don't remember what it's called. Uchiwa Noro's Uchiwa. I bought 2 balls of it and I barely squeaked through and finished this. So the difference between my cardigan and the designer's pattern is that I don't have pockets on the front, but honestly, I don't think I would use it, so I'm okay. I think the really annoying thing about using the Uchiwa is that there's a bias, so there was kind of like a tilt, and it was hard to gauge how this would look in the end, mainly because it was like slightly tilted, and the thin and thick, although it was very cool, made it very difficult to make the button band, and that was a first for me. I've never made a button band before, and I did it 3 times for this. It came out way too big the first time. Second time was still a little too big, and then I basically sized down again, and then I think this worked out. I actually think it's still maybe just a little tiny too big, but it looks so good, and I didn't have to cut the yarn for the buttonholes, which apparently is the case for most people who do button bands, but I came upon a YouTube video on how to do it without. I don't remember what her name is, but she's the person who runs Starcross Knits, and her video is chef's kiss. I'll link it below because I thought it was super helpful and super informative without being overly lengthy. And yeah, anyways, very happy with how this turned out. I was actually thinking about wearing it today, but I felt more like wearing a sweatshirt, so yeah. It's like a warm hug. Great for fall, great for cozying up, great with a cup of coffee. And honestly, I don't know, I'm really excited to throw this on just over whatever I'm wearing because that's the vibe. Cozy. We're going for cozy. Yeah. I don't know, I could stare at it all day. It's just so fun to look at, and the inside is so cool, the pearl, the garter, if it were a garter stitched cardigan would also be super cool. Okay, so in this last month and a half approximately, I have gone on 2 trips. One was to go see a friend, and while I was there, there being Seattle, while I was in Seattle, I knitted my friend a beanie. I just thought it'd be a nice little thank you. Obviously she does not have it, I have it. There was kind of a mix up in how I knit the button band, and this one is the Oslo hat by Petite Knit. I've heard a lot of other knitters make it and they really like the fit, so I felt pretty good about just pulling the trigger, getting the pattern, and knitting it there. But yeah, my issue while I was there, I actually finished it in Seattle, but I did the the folded band wrong. I don't know, I ended up flipping this completely. I don't even know if you can see, but there's this little nice band here that says you should fold up, and I somehow took it to turn it around so that the whole inside is pearl. And it was so confusing because there were once I hit a turn, I was like, oh, this is not it. But yeah, this one was a really easy knit after I figured out what was actually meant. Maybe it's just a reading instructions issue, and I was feeling the pressure because I wanted to finish it before leaving. We were only there for a couple days, and I did this while we were driving to Olympic National Park, but I ended up having to frog it and start over. I started on the plane and I pretty much finished it during the airplane ride. was pretty much done. I'm gonna say it's just like a 2-day project if you can't knit continuously. Anyways, so yeah, it's so cute. This one's also blocked. Man, it looks a little weird without my bangs out. Yeah, I just picked up this random yarn from oh gosh, what was it called? It was a cute little yarn store by Pike's Place. It was fun. I just like walked in and the person there assisted me in finding a yarn pretty quickly because I knew what I wanted to do. We just had to find the right colorway, and it's this really cool purple purple color. I think we said like edgy and purple, and my husband used another interesting descriptor, but I can't remember it right now. I want to say he said grungy. Yeah, anyways, my friend's super cool. And yeah, when I blocked it, I did think it was interesting how much it stretched out. Like I could literally pull this all the way over my head, and it was just like hanging and swishing around, and I was actually really scared that it wouldn't go back to its normal size. I do think it's a little bit bigger than when like pre-blocking. So just something to think about when you're working on projects. I feel like I need to start wet blocking my swatches because I've already gone through the steps of swatching and getting gauge. So is it really getting gauge if you don't wet block? Yeah. You know, you live and you learn. Thankfully this turned out well. I just like zapped it in the dryer, and it looks like it's gone back to its normal shape. So this is about to be sent off in the mail. Should have been sent out earlier, but you know, that's okay. That's okay. I've talked about, by the way, all the yarn that I use, I'm gonna try and like link in the description below, but okay, stay. Yeah, some of them I just don't remember because it's been a bit. I wanted to touch on this one briefly. I'm bringing back the dream sweater that I made for my baby. Looking back, this yarn was a dream to work with. It just feels so nice. Like it's so smooth and soft, and oh, I kind of wish I made a sweater for myself in this yarn. It's Julie Aslin, I believe, and Journey Sport, and yeah, it feels so good. I actually think my niece was comparing her sweater to this yarn here. Anyways, I'm only bringing it up because I finally got some buttons to put on his button band. While we were in Seattle, I visited La Mercerie, which is a yarn shop on Bainbridge Island. Whoops, where is the camera? Yeah. And I picked up some little bunny buttons. And so this one was done for a while, but it was just missing a button and I hadn't picked one up, so I couldn't fully complete it. But I got 6 of them, and so I'm just gonna scatter these little bunny buttons across his clothing because he's a bunny in the Chinese zodiac, or East. Do you call it Eastern? I don't know. I think a lot of other Asian countries observe it, but yeah, he's a bunny. His zodiac is a bunny. So I don't know. It's just a cute little touch, and you really can only see it if you get pretty close to his back. It's not quite cold yet in Austin. It got a little cool in the last 2 weeks, but we kind of had a heat wave again. So he will be wearing this sooner than later, and I am so stoked. Okay. Oh, I guess while we're on the topic of buttons, there we go. That's cute. These are the little buttons I got for my son, and these are the 5. La Mercerie is so beautiful. I kind of wish I could just like sit and knit in there. I was talking with some of the associates working, and they commenting on how beautiful the store is. And apparently the store owner used to work at Anthropologie and work on the displays. So if you ever get a chance to go to La Mercerie, that store is just, I'm doing a lot of clicks these days, so is my son. But it's just so aesthetically pleasing. Like, I feel really good when I'm there, just because they showcase the yarn like they are the stars of the whole entire store, which they are. But there's like an eclectic mix of drawers and bins, and it's just so nice. It was so nice. I want to go back. I was only there for like maybe an hour, and yeah, time was short. Time was scarce. Yeah, highly recommend checking it out. I just kind of going in a weird order, but yeah, so I picked up the bunny buttons, and then I also picked up these little brown buttons here. I thought they were an inch, but they are not. They were meant for my cardigan number 8. It did not work out. These are way too small. Yeah, it was not way too small. It's close, but it's not an inch. Yeah, that's closer to an inch. Anyways, so I'll have to find another project for these cute little buttons, and I don't know, they kind of sound like they're porcelain. They don't sound plasticky. The amount of time I spent looking at buttons there, though, was kind of insane. I almost came back with like yellow buttons or blue buttons. They were so cute. It was also like just hard to decide because my cardigan has so many colors mixed in. So yeah. Okay. Another thing I picked up were these fun little stitch markers. They're these geometric stitch markers. I've opened it since and have been using them for my various projects I have. Oh my gosh, I'm at 26 minutes. Maybe I'll have to break this up. Yeah, so these are super cute and dainty. It's honestly made knitting even more fun for me, and I love it. They were $8, but you know, this is a hobby. If you can make your hobby more enjoyable, why not? At least that's kind of mentality I'm going with. Okay. I have a lot of works in progress that I really want to try and clear out. We'll see how I do. It doesn't feel good for me to have things hanging around. And so I guess I'll just start with my current work in progress. It's kind of an extension of things that I picked up. I also picked up the Ulysse yarn from La Mercerie. It's exclusively it's sold exclusively to La Mercerie. I don't really know how that works, but yeah, you can only find them there, and I've heard so much about it. Nee Knits talked about it, and I don't know, she spoke so highly of it that I went to go and feel it in person, and it feels so soft and squishy. I did look it up, and I feel like I've been learning more about fiber, like worsted spun versus, there's another one, but basically this one is half and half, so it has the durability but also the softness. And yeah, okay, this one's softer than the Juniper Moon, and I'm really curious how this will block out, and I have not wet blocked this. I kind of like decided all the stuff I said earlier after I had already started my current project with this yarn, so I hope it doesn't bite me in the butt. But you know what, if it's a little bit more oversized, that's fine. I'm okay with oversized. Look at my sweatshirt, look at my cardigan number 8. But yeah, I'm very excited to use this. This one is a DK weight, I believe, and I'm using it for my current project. And then I also picked up the Gilead. I don't know to say this, but it's this really nice dark red, kind of like a wine red. I wouldn't say Merlot, but you know, it's going that direction. Have a very exciting project with this one, and I'll talk about it later, but I haven't cast it on. So all right, with my beautiful, it's called clay matte. Anyways, this is like a cobalt blue to me. I'm not going to pretend like I can say French words well, even though I took French in high school. It's been years. I'm working on this super basic sweatshirt by Beyond Wool, and I am this far. Like, it just looks so good. The color, I spent so much time literally like just going around the store comparing it to my skin tone, and I thought this one was a good one. So I'm working on my sweater. Sorry, the fan is on. I'm working on the sweater, and it's been like a really cool knit so far because the construction's pretty different than what I've done before. This one is inspired by Future Fiber. I really liked her gray one, but I'm currently on a huge color kick, and I say it and then I feel hypocritical because I'm wearing gray. Yeah, my current wardrobe is not as colorful, but I really liked her gray one, and I just wanted color, so made it in blue. But here, I love this little cross. I don't know how well it comes off on camera. It'll be a very subtle detail to those who see it in person. That detail is so nice. I've already even done the collar, which was part of the instruction, but what's more interesting is that you make a double knit back yoke. So sorry, let me turn it around properly. See how the stitches run from right to left? That is double knit, which if you're not familiar means that there's like 2 layers of fabric. So here's this back panel, right? I can pull it apart because it's like doubled over on each other, and so you just knit it straight across until you have the right length, and then you pick up the stitches on top for the shoulders, and then you connect it to then bring it down before connecting and around. And I don't know, I just think it's like ingenious because I haven't really had to knit or do the purl knit so much for this construction, which is typically what I've been seeing with all the projects that I've done in the past couple months, at least with, you know, when you do just the back yoke and then the shoulders, you kind of have to knit flat and do all that purling. But when you double knit to create, oh no, okay, it's just a pen. When you double knit to create this back panel here, you're literally just slipping stitches and knitting, and then you just go back and forth. So you kind of avoid purling altogether. So the small bit of purling that I did have to do was just like right here, and a tiny bit of the front, so the front yoke. But now that I like just joined this in around like a day ago, and I'm like already down here. So I don't know, it's so cool. It's so cool. And I really appreciate this double knit collar. Sorry, I say double knit, but it's like a folded over collar band. It's like in the middle here, and then there's like a 1x1 ribbing for the part that actually touches your neck. It just looks so nicely like finished. It looks so professional. Like I feel like a professional. So yeah, I am so stoked. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be done with the body by the end of the weekend, and then I'll be working on sleeves sooner than later. But I hate doing sleeves, and I bit the bullet and bought some short interchangeable knitting needles because I'm already on like project 6 or something with knitting, and it's only, yeah, suffice to say, it will make knitting a lot more enjoyable, and I'm already deep in the hole, so I'm just gonna make it enjoyable for myself. Anyway, so that's my current work in progress. I freaking love it. I can't stop staring at it. It's so nice. It's so sophisticated. It's so simple. Yeah, I can't get over it. Highly recommend. If I change my mind, I'll let you know next time. But yeah, love it. So there's my current project. I also have my Esther sweater, which has kind of been on hold because we were in the summer and I was, yes, inspired by this back in the summer, but then it just got too hot. So I'm actually quite far in it. I'm quite far in it, but I can't help but wonder if I should have knitted with smaller needles to get a fabric that I liked more. Not to say that I don't like this, but I think the loops could have been a little bit tighter. This gives rustic, which is not bad, but I do think it would look a little bit neater if I had used some smaller needles. I would rip it back, but I feel like I've done that multiple times for this one already, and it's not really worth it because there's mohair involved, and when I was ripping it back before on the back panel, that was such a pain. The mohair really catches on quick, so that's okay. This one will just be a looser sweater and drapey, a drapey Esther sweater. So sorry, Esther Sweater by Petite Knit. It's such a nice texture. Maybe I'll end up making another one. I'm kind of the opinion these days, or as I get older, that remaking patterns, if you like it, is totally fine. You don't have to make something new every single time. It could just be in a different color. And or vice versa, you could use the same yarn for different patterns because you just really like the yarn. That takes out some of the guesswork, and we're, as adults, already thinking about so many different things. Just do what you like. Can you tell that that's what I'm telling myself? Anyways, yeah, so I'm pretty much done with the body. I stopped at the bottom rib, but I actually might rip it back and make it a little bit longer. I haven't really decided. It just seems like it might be cuter a little bit longer if it's oversized. I was kind of going for cropped initially, but since it has so much ease one way, it might look better a little longer. But yeah, I don't remember the last time I showed this. So yeah, I'm going to try and finish all of these before I start. I'm going to just stop myself. Yeah, and this far. We'll be on Sleeve Island also with this, which is kind of why those shorter needles cannot come any sooner. Because honestly, that one worked up pretty fast too. Yeah. These are the two that are question marks for me. I might just put it aside, but I did start another Oslo hat, trying to use some of the mohair that I bought when I was testing and swatching for my cardigan number 8. The mohair just didn't work out, so if you've been following, you already know that, but I'm probably not gonna knit. I don't know what I'm doing. I picked up some yarn that was on sale, some sock yarn, and I had some pink, and so it went well with my flamingo, and I don't know, I think it'd be kind of cute. My ears do get more cold than some of the rest of my body, so, or I could gift it. Yeah, it's just a really cute pink color. Very into color right now. It makes me so happy. So got another Oslo hat in the works. that one is higher priority than what I'm about to show you. I cast it on the Cumulus O-neck tee by Petite Knit. And I'm not that far, but I really liked my pink one that I made this past summer. And so I thought I would try the O-neck in a white, because I made a return and I didn't want my money sitting there because I will totally forget. So I picked up this white color. This is Knitting for Olive in pure silk. And I have to say, like, I have since refined my tensioning when I'm flipping back and forth and knitting flat. Okay, you can kind of see a little bit of rowing out, but for the most part, like, that is so freaking even. This line is from when I had a pause and I was pulling things, my stitch holder back and forth, and I think it just stretched out the row. It doesn't bother me enough where I might go back and rip it out, but yeah. And I was trying out a technique for keeping track of my increases without having to use stitch markers per se, like legit ones. Like, I'm using the geometric one here more out of necessity. I tried to use the pure silk scraps I have to weave back and forth to keep track of my increase. However, it's kind of it sticks to itself, and I don't know, it was just kind of fiddly, and I stopped. Okay, what I will say about this pattern is I thought it was going to be more similar to the V-neck version, and I'm actually very surprised how different it is, at least for the beginning construction. This is proving to be easier than the V-neck in my opinion. I like crew necks more. I kind of wish I'd purchased that at the time of starting my original project. I don't think it was out yet, but this O-neck is really cool. The general sentiment is that it's easier because there's less to keep track of with increases, because you just make the neck like the crew neck, and then you connect it around much sooner, which I love. So yeah, anyways, TBD on this one because it's a summer. It feels really summery. I mean, I think I still have a week or two left of summer in Austin. But now I'm looking at this row and I'm like, should I just rip it back? Should I just start over? I'm really not that far. Anyways, you'll find out in the future, like, chat. Okay, I got my super basic sweatshirt, my Esther sweater, my Oslo hat, my Cumulus O-neck. Do I have anything else? Alright. I don't know, I just got a lot of stuff. I think I briefly talked about making a nursing cover. I did not do that. I ended up just finding an easier solution, and we love that in this parenting life. I took a swaddle, like one of the existing swaddles I had for my son, and I literally just tied two corners together and put it over my head to nurse him. We don't always need to make things. And this was totally inspired by a friend who is also pregnant, and she had it on her registry. And I was just like, oh. Well, hers had a little elastic band on the corner which you can like pull through so you don't have to do the knot. But a knot is not difficult to do. So instead of spending cash there, I saved it and just used what I had. I did end up buying that for her because she didn't have any other swaddles on there, and so it's kind of like I bought one, but I didn't. So there was that, and then I made the Pauline dress by Core Fabrics, or Core Patterns. I mean, hold on. Yeah, by Core Patterns. Insert it here. Like, it turned out so well. I felt like a college student again when I was sewing this dress because it was literally a labor of love. I really wanted to wear it to my friend's wedding in New York, and it was beautiful. The details in this dress are just so nice. Like, I learned a lot. I really stretched myself personally because I made a fitted bodice. And I was very diligent about pressing everything. So very, very happy with how it came out. The back, especially the fit. Like, I already wore it a second time because I didn't get a back photo while we were at the wedding, which is so unfortunate, but it's okay. Yeah, it's made of linen, this purple linen that I purchased last year, and it's been sitting there, and I think it was kind of scary cutting into linen to make something like this because it crinkles and creases, but I think it turned out really well. So honestly, you can elevate anything you have. You just have to be thoughtful about the application, and I think this one worked out well in my favor. Yeah. I spent like a whole week of pulling all-nighters working on my dress because I can't do it during the day while I'm working, only at night, and I make my life more difficult than I have to sometimes. But if I want it to last long, I want it to be done right, and so that's kind of the thought process there. I was really careful about drafting up a test fit first, and then adjusting to make sure it fit my torso right, and then starting all over, ironing all of my linen. Like, I pre-washed my fabric, which you should always do, but 5 yards of linen is a lot of linen to iron. Like, my wrist ended up just not in great shape after ironing for so long, but I pressed every seam, I trimmed everything carefully. A true labor of love. Yeah, I'm so proud of myself though. Like, it takes a while to get to a place where you like just treat everything like really carefully, and you know, for the sake of longevity and sustainability, I'm very proud of myself. Okay, another thing that I made is this little happy birthday bunting. So there's the H, and you can see the A, P, P, Y, and then I have birthday here. I made it for my son's first birthday, and it's so freaking cute. Like, this was the fabric that I used for my dress, and I just used my scrap pieces to make the binding, so I feel really good about that. They would have just been wasted for the most part, or quilted, but this was a simpler application. But yeah, I used felt to create these little buntings, and honestly, like, not difficult. This project would be super, super simple if I had pre-purchased binding. That was where most of the time went, and also the stitching. You could very simply like just sew an edge around each of these, but I really like the I don't know, hand, what is it called? Wabi sabi. I really like the wabi sabi nature of just like stitching it by hand. And we kind of alternated between this little blanket stitch and a running stitch. Oh, I love how this turned out too. Yeah, his birthday was a smash hit. This one was also one of those like time sensitive projects that I should have worked on earlier. And I don't know. These last 2 months have been just so busy, and I've been struggling with, setting expectations for myself, and a huge weird problem that I had was feeling as if I needed to push out a video every 2 weeks because the algorithm. But The algorithm does not drive my life. I am doing all these crafting things for joy and pleasure, and I want to make sure it stays that way. And making the videos, like I like sitting down and talking about it, but the cadence was too much. When you have too much on your plate, you're also less excited to talk about your things. So I think moving forward, I'm just going to record when I feel like it, and it'll just be like a huge, like, let's celebrate all the things we made because they're fun and we love it. And I mean, I practice not buying too much like already made things so that I can reuse, repurpose, use forever, use a lot. Cost per wear is small. Basically, like, all the things I've made so far, I've used a lot. So yeah, that was a tangent. Okay, we're in the home stretch, and it's just all the projects I have on the horizon. So I have all those work in progresses to finish, and most likely those sweaters will be done, and then maybe I'll hit the hat. The hat's for nobody. It might be for me, but yeah, that was like on a whim. I started casting on so many different things, and I don't like having 4 knitting projects going. It's a little stressful. So I will finish the 2 sweaters at the very least, and then I will move on to my family sweaters that I'm making for me, my husband, and my baby. I'm hoping to finish this before Christmas time, and I think it's doable. We are going to be wearing the Ingrid sweater from Petite Knit, and that's actually what this yarn is for. Having red matching sweaters. I just think it'll be really nice, and I am probably going to size up my son's sweater by a year or so that he can get multiple uses out of it. But I only have 2 balls of this Gilead to start with so that I can knit his first, see if it works well before I really buy a ton for my sweater and my husband's sweater. So I'm so excited. Also, baby sweaters are so fun to knit because they're so quick. So yeah. And then as far as sewing goes, I have a project that I planned last year when my son was born, and there was a sale at the fabric store. It's a store based in Australia, and I believe they have locations in New Zealand too, but they have really nice linens. And I bought a lot of linen. I didn't know what to make for me personally, but I wanted to make my son a quilt. So, yeah, I know I spent a lot of money. Or it feels like a lot, but honestly, if it's an heirloom thing, it's okay. And this was past Annie's purchase, so I also feel a bit more okay. I'm not thinking too much about the cost, but yeah, this will be my project. This will be my project for Sewing Circle. It's gonna be a very simple quilt. I'll just put this here. I quickly drafted something on Figma, and it's a bunch of squares. I have an inch seam allowance just in case, because I've heard that linen can fray, and I want to make sure I catch the extra seam behind it with when I stitch in the ditch or do some hand stitching. But the plan is to make this very simple quilt. I will be pressing everything. I actually think this will go pretty quickly. Usually the part that takes me the longest with the quilt is when you're sandwiching the batting in between. But I do think I want to take it a little bit further. There is no timeline for this, so I'm not going to stress myself out about it. I think I want to do hand quilting. Maybe, I think it's called shashiko. It's a Japanese type of mending, but I really love the patterns, and I think it would be really cool in a quilt like this. So, yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on, but I love it. And again, yeah, I'm just gonna make these little update videos whenever I'm excited to share. Sometimes it feels like there's a lot to share, but there's also like not a lot to share. There's like small variances. You ever feel that way? Like I think I'm constantly switching lenses between like abstracting the world and boiling it down to like very basic concepts, and I'm like, this simplifies the world, but it also makes it less interesting. But then when you zoom in, it's like, wow, everything's so expansive. Right now, I'm in the expansive lens. I think I like zooming out when I feel a little more overwhelmed, but then I have to quickly like zoom back in to excite myself again. Maybe it's just a me thing, but yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on and it'll be fun. Hopefully I'll check in about a month instead of a month and a half. I'm trying to make my life less stressful. I don't need extra stress. This is supposed to be fun. I'm going to keep it fun because I think it also translates on camera. So yeah. All right. Have a good one. Bye. Oh God. Yes. Okay. Some